and welcome to the SmackDown preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture. Here to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown and the Elimination Chamber this weekend. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also Manhara, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0.
It's like the Monaco Grand Prix.
AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. And the Elimination Chamber this weekend, of course.
That's what we always do.
Yeah.
All I hear is that, like that thing that Nicholas found.
Yes.
That like weird robot dance music when we got copyright for Door or No Door.
That's my thing.
Which we, by the way, shout out to one of my favourite podcasts, a non-wrestling one that I heartily recommend to anybody, 16th Minute by Jamie Loftus.
Yes.
Who also used it. And like, it's a really great podcast that I understand does quite well. And I wonder if maybe this is how this thing has happened. I wonder if because she's so GD professional, she's like a journalist, she like applies journalistic standards to her coverage, and really when it comes to us, you're the only one that does it. Like, we can't live up to your OTJ standards. I wonder if whoever has created that you found it as like a free to use music.
I can't remember. I think so, yeah.
Makes me wonder if like wherever that piece of music exists. Would
you play it?
I wouldn't. I wonder if she thought, you know what, no, somebody made that once. I'll reach out. I'll get them paid. And then somebody's gone, oh, thanks very much, yeah, and gets $5 or whatever. And then an algorithm's been run on every single use of it ever. And yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then like the first appearance of it on YouTube has made him go, money. And that's why we had to kill it. Like, retrospectively, I wonder if there's a few videos in the old past ski that might
that happened a while back with the Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
Oh yeah,
like loads of old YouTubers used to use it as like a
for that bit,
and then they were like, all my videos have been like copyright claimed. What do I do?
Wasn't that like a bit of a shortcut or a cheat code for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Like loads of that music is just free to use or however, I forget the phrasing. Like,
but nice to help out the little podcast. What was that called?
It's called 16th Minute.
There you go.
Jamie Loftus. It's an excellent listen. It's about people that like become celebrities on the internet, whether they mean to or not.
Fantastic listen.
It's a great idea for it, yeah. And like, there's been some terrific episodes on the most recent one. There's like a big, long, like 3-part deep dive into the single year's experience of Hayley Welsh as the Hawk Turk.
Yeah, I might listen to this on my drive later. It's nice to help out the little podcasts, from our ivory tower up here. Benno and Hamflett have got a great podcast.
They do.
Stephanie McMahon's got a podcast coming out,
Right.
They're all coming for us. They've all tried. There's a graveyard of bodies, right, of people who've tried to come for us and have failed. Mm-hmm. Dead man succeeded, right? I'll admit.
And he knows his way around graveyards, so he kind of knew how to avoid one. Yeah.
FTR, though, that was nice while it lasted. Like, some people just...
William Regal.
Come on.
See you later.
Chris Van Vliet. Yeah, okay. Chris is good podcast.
That boxing one when there's a big fight.
That doesn't count.
I know, but it always seems to creep up there and knock us off number one spot.
Jim Cornette makes good points, And
he has like some gimmick where there's like you split into two.
Yeah,
and we know what the crack
what
is
are you doing there.
Like we could split, like our SmackDown coverage is so exhaustive that we could easily split this into a 2-part. Put it in the feed as a double download and try and get like double, or like on the YouTube channel as double. And
only put out about 120 podcasts a month, okay?
Nicholas wants us to split them into 2 and like have divided timestamps and go even deeper with the timestamps that he already does. He said as much.
Yeah.
He said like...
If you don't, speak now or forever hold your peace. Well, there you go.
No, there's probably not going to be any timestamps today. But
You're not going back and watching all this, is it?
Would you? We're in a...
He's working on something, actually. What's he working on today?
He's working on Best Match Ever, the next episode of the first series of mine and Sidgwick's deep dive into the anatomy of some wrestling classics. I don't wish to spoil what's coming up for this week's edition, but if you haven't managed to check them out yet on our YouTube channel, I would very much like it if you did. We've gone deep on The Rock versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 18, on Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes from
I was there for that.
2019, from Bayley versus Sasha at TakeOver Brooklyn 2015, and the fourth one that Adam Nicholas is diligently and beautifully putting together in these gorgeous videos that drop on Sundays, the next episode. I will keep quiet, but we're very much excited for people to see it.
But Michael, I'm confused because I've been told that the best match ever could well be this weekend as part of the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, we're going to bounce around and do the Chamber and SmackDown at the same time. I can do both.
Yeah.
Let's talk Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. No, that's not the match. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn.
Uh-oh.
With the spectre of Randy Orton hanging over this.
Yeah.
How far are they going to go?
Really, really far.
It's going to be a bloodbath, this, isn't it?
Yeah. It's... We should say, by the way, we are going to obviously talk about SmackDown. We like a tangent. Once, like Blue Moon, not just Blue Walls. Once in a blue moon, we'll have a tangent. But this one today, like, because there's Elimination Chamber tomorrow and on Monday, that like SmackDown coverage will feel a bit redundant. We'll be doing an Elimination Chamber review rather than SmackDown one. Whenever this happens the way it does, it's realised it's just better to smush them together.
Yeah.
So apologies for anyone that would like the typical deep dive into SmackDown we do, because it's going to cross over with Elimination Chamber as well. I just want to get that out early.
Yeah, and apologies if people, don't like the tangents. It's just usually, on these podcasts, our audience likes to have fun. So, line up. Sorry.
You get him, actually.
Yeah.
I'm with him. Cheer
Sorry,
off.
I realise you're precious AW. He took the piss a little bit. But
He did.
we don't blame us for talking about chocolate, okay? I was kicking myself for not saying chomp for the little finger. We all had problems with the Dynamite preview.
Well, this is it, right? We are going home on our respective commutes to our families, and I can't look them in the eyes. My two children.
Papa?
Yeah, my two children both came to the front door, and I went, Papa. And my wife was stood next to them. Darling.
You said, Nicole. No, Adele.
Everything went black and white. I still haven't got that free Renault, right? And I was like, hello, family. Daddy, why you look so sad? Darling, tell me at once, what is it? And then she
What vexes you?
dabbed her face with like a handkerchief and
Yeah.
stuff, and like she was just like there was like the thing around her head.
Yeah.
She was just holding flowers and bacon in the kitchen.
Bacon?
Holding flowers and yeah, she was holding flowers and bacon. So I knew dinner was going to be good. I was like, darling, you couldn't possibly understand. But today, whilst previewing AEW Dynamite, and the children went, no, Daddy, don't. And I was like, no, we have to. and I went, and I said, and children, it's been vastly improved of late. And they've been like, surely it can't. And I was like, no, really, honestly, it's going bad. And unfortunately,
Daddy, have they hit a milli? No, they haven't, children.
they never will again.
I'm having a bit of fun. Calm down.
We're going to get ourselves double in trouble from when we were trying to get ourselves out of trouble. What is it? Did you not correctly assess all the predictable outcomes to all the predictable matches? No, dearest. Of course I figured all of those out with the greatest of ease. Well, then what possibly could have gone wrong, Papa? Well, it wasn't until we returned to the office away from the microphones that we considered that the Freddo would have made for the perfect thumb or little finger. Oh, Daddy! Oh, Papa!
And that's why Hamflett's getting a divorce.
She slammed the door in my face.
Yeah.
And she was right to do it.
Never get to see the kids again.
She was right to do it. They did.
How couldn't you put the Freddo as the thumb?
It's
Phil Chambers who pointed it out.
made me wait outside in the cold while they put the Dynamite preview on the big screen in the living room, and they watched it, and they were screaming at me through the one open window of the house. I was like, please, family, one more chance. And they were like, you stay out there whilst I found your analysis and predictions and speculation for all the events that took place on Dynamite to be excellent, pointed, and worth the time you spent on it. I am disgusted that you would ignore both the Freddo and the Caramel Freddo and the much-missed Tazo as options for your thumb and little finger. But yes, your prediction about what happened to Christopher Daniels looks to me to be absolutely f***ing spot on. So maybe try and contextualize your critiques in the future.
By the way, lint nipples for a snowman is very accurate.
That's excellent work. Children, listen to your father when it comes to cream egg balls and you will be fine men.
And the Mars does have a vein in it, much like a penis.
He made a great point about the Mars.
But he's not welcome in this house. Kevin and Sami Zayn, unsanctioned match.
The thing with that is, it's weird, right?
Right.
That in a period of time from January where the WrestleMania card could have and should have been a thing we should have just been headed full steam towards, with match graphics and like paid off speculation from the November period, the stuff we like about this like relatively organized Triple H era that we had in 2023 and 2024. Hasn't materialized. However, what at least was materializing was, for example, Jane Gunther, Solo and Jacob, and this main event scene of like, well, it could be this, or it could be this, or it could be this, or it could be this. Thank God that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is this one that you can like hang your hat on. Thank God, if I was allowed back in the house to put my hat after a hard day, but I'm still not. Like, at least you can hang your hat on that. And then they book it here. And much like the WrestleMania card being full of compromises, you go, well, do you know what? Like, this is the Rogers Centre, a.k.a. the Sky Dome, like Toronto, a wrestling hotbed. And I will plug another podcast. And like with another journalist, like John Pollock's done an excellent podcast on WWE's history with Toronto, kind of owning that city. It's a brilliant, brilliant listen. And like, as much as it's like just 30,000 people in there, when I would have like been a bit more ambitious and scaled for 40 or 50, it is this iconic venue. It's going to look amazing. So maybe they wanted it there.
Yeah.
They fought at WrestleMania before. They fought in tags and against one another at WrestleMania before.
And they may well do it again.
They may still do it again. Yeah, it's not off the table, but there's a news article that you can read, written by yours truly, about Randy Orton's return, as your Freudian slip kind of revealed.
Yes.
And the heightened speculation that he will take on Kevin Owens. He will be his opponent. He's got a pile driver to pay Owens back for, a package pile driver that put him out. Sami Zayn, at the same time, has been sideways programmed with Karrion Kross, who feels like he is at very least trying to work his way into the WrestleMania plans, and why would you not if you're a wrestler? So right now, it is becoming harder to see this making it to WrestleMania, which means, to actually get back to the first question you asked, they can go balls out and not leave anything behind. I think when we talked about this initially, it was like, oh, well, it's going to be an angle rather than a match because it's going to save it for wrestler. Like, it's unsanctioned, but they're going to somehow get even more violent at WrestleMania. All of that might still occur, but in my gut, I'm choosing to believe they half kill each other here, and that might be it.
I think that's it. I don't have as big an issue with this as many people do.
I'm mixed on it. I will say, right, this is a bit like, you know how, I don't know if people remember this, you know how me and you had like a only a little slight disagreement about the end of WrestleMania 39.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone away now. And I basically...
Who turned out to be right about that in the end?
Both of us in a way. It needed an entire calendar year of pro wrestling with the best wrestler in the world and a series of injuries and the most bizarre intervention from a film billionaire and sudden company director to deliver like an all-time company payoff to pretty much justify taking the big old gamble a year prior. Like, this is a very, 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 very squashed version of that because I am conditionally fine with this based on two provisos. Number one, this chamber match kicks ass and the fans go nuts for it, and you can tell that Owens and Zayn can scarcely believe that the fights they've once had in like PWG and Ring of Honor to every version of WWE now, NXT, the Vince era pay-per-views, as tag partners, as whatever, like now they're doing it in like this, the biggest Canadian venue there is. If they get that and they make it feel like as big as it can possibly be, and both their WrestleMania matches end up being pretty great, we're all happy. It's the idea that Orton or Cross could like end up like I don't know, just feeling very run-of-the-mill or very TV rather than big-time WrestleMania. And then you will stop and reflect on what you lost, I think.
See, I don't think we lose it because we're getting the match. It's not like we're not getting the match. We're getting it in Toronto, like you say. I think on a show where they will be permitted to do more. I think at WrestleMania, if they were like, can we do double juice, whatever. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but I think they'd be like, it's WrestleMania. We kind of want to put this out there as our big thing. And for advertisers or whatever, it's not as ideal. I know it's all the same because it's all on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think most importantly of all, this will get time. There are 3 other matches on this show, right? Chamber matches generally go about 30 minutes-ish.
Yeah.
I know with entrances, it's basically an hour.
I was going to say, you can give an hour. Yeah.
You got the tag match, which we'll get to with Trish and Tiff and what have you. But this is not going to be suffering like and I don't think they would necessarily be like 12 minutes, lads. But I just think it's, and I agree, I think both matches will be worse than this match at WrestleMania. I think even though it's a really good story that they've told with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, it's still Randy Orton in my opinion. And personally, I'm not as huge a fan of his as I am of Sami Zayn. Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn, what the hell is that going to look like? I've not got the highest of hopes in comparison to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. There is a bit of me, but I'm not going to say, let it play out until WrestleMania next year, guys.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a part of me that thinks they could be saying, well, we can't do Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn at this year's WrestleMania because we do kind of want to do that for a world title at next year's. But I have less of an issue because we're getting the match and it's not just a throwaway, like they did with Seth and Punk. Let's just do it on a Raw.
Yeah, and that felt
very different, I know, but
that felt like something that one or both, I suspect at least one, wanted that one out of the WrestleMania conversation.
Yeah.
And Netflix on Raw was a big deal, and it did need a main event befitting of the first night and whatever. Is it possible that in order to raise the stakes from an unsanctioned match in the Sky Dome, which are hard stakes to raise, you've made me think about this from the perspective of the card. You can assume that they open and close with the chamber, or can you? Because maybe the Rock goes on last. But like theoretically, the men's chamber main events,
yes,
the women's chamber opens. You do the men's first, and then the Rock. Like by then, you know who's it's theoretically challenging Cody, but he could sell his soul. So I guess chamber as the bookends.
Bread and the sandwich.
Yes. Could you? Well, it's funny you mentioned sandwich. Could you have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn not as a sandwich filler, but as the stuff I don't like? The kind of stuff where it goes all over the bread. So, could you in order to raise the stakes from an unsanctioned match at the Sky Dome to something that worthy of a WrestleMania match, the fight can barely be contained. So they try and have it. We open with a chamber. Then here we go. It's an unsanctioned match, and immediately they go hog wild. It's completely out of control, and it cannot be stopped. And then it goes off into the stands, and it's like, we're going to have to get security out there. Anyway, here comes the next match, and they run the match in the middle.
Okay.
And then we revisit it, and they're fighting up in another corner of the Sky Dome, or they're fighting outside on the streets. This pattern I am stealing, by the way, from Triple H versus Cactus Jack from Canadian Stampede in your house, where the match went throughout the pay-per-view, and it ended up leading them to have a steel cage at SummerSlam because it needed something to keep them in because they couldn't be contained. I wonder if that, and then you do a bunch of individual cool spots the whole way through the night, but it's like the biggest building in Canada wasn't able to contain them. We're going to have to contain them at WrestleMania, and then you put them in, I don't know, Hell in a Cell, or you find a stipulation that basically traps them and forces them to kill each other. A ladder war, akin to the stuff they would do to each other and have done to each other in the past, and tied to what happened to Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble that Sami Zayn, in his mind, didn't protect him from. Kevin's mom on a pole. Just hitting all the personal beats.
I thought that was part of the story, was Kevin's mom was on a pole.
That's good stuff. It's a buffet. It's a podcast buffet. And it ain't just Sami Zayn that's eating, all right? So, maybe they don't give a finish. Maybe Orton and Karrion Kross are things that kind of can distract.
4-way, WrestleMania.
No, got 20 of them. I was saying this in the office this morning. I feel a little bit what's the phrase I'm after? Indignant, self-righteous, all of these negative ones. Like a Twitter account's going to be like, oh, these goddamn assholes asking for too much. I feel like I've been robbed about a month's worth of getting excited about things via match graphics or stories. But
by Sunday,
I was going to say you were like sort of you were either very prophetic or very pathetic because you were setting yourself up for one or the other. Was it Tuesday? Come Tuesday?
Yeah.
Where it's going to be like, you know what? By next Tuesday, I think I'm going to have nothing to worry about. And then it's like, and what if you do?
Yeah, it's a bit
I ain't going to think about that.
It's a bit like when you're doing your studies and you're like in the depths of like just stressing and cramming and what have you. And you're like, well, this time next week it'll all be over. Oh, God, this time next week it'll all be over. Whoa. Yeah.
What then? Yeah. So, yeah, it's a really hard one to call.
Let it play out, baby.
Well, I am going to with this, especially because...
Right on my knuckles or something.
Yeah, here we go. Mr. Let It Play Out. And then before the cameras roll, I'm watching you ready to flip the desk if CM Punk doesn't win the chamber.
Better win the chamber, all right?
This is the best Let It Play Out of the lot because what you've alluded to this. What you are potentially being served is excellent. Mm-hmm. We don't yet know exactly what the future holds for either guy. And it's hard to imagine that Owens and Zayn aren't just like lightning bolts through the veins at the prospect of having this fight on this night. So there's a lot to love about this, even if there will be a sense from a number of people that it's not quite what we wanted. Like, I think it might not feel like that after they've actually fought. And I don't expect anything much more on SmackDown tonight. I would quite like them kept apart. Like, I know that now the idea is everyone's in town for the two shows, but maybe you do a bit where SmackDown GM, I cannot remember his name for the life of me, has done a thing where they're both kept separately and these like a one-night restraining order or something. And it's like, you've gone to each other's houses. Like,
yeah,
you know you are going to have to come to the same building. I've got to protect my match at Elimination Chamber. So, like, you actually are going to have been close to each other when you were stalking each other. I'm not going to let you get near each other. And then it's a proper going off the air, like, sort of SmackDown moment of, we're out of time. Or, you know, something like that.
Well, you mentioned tonight SmackDown. We should probably talk about the matches that are on that show because we've got a couple, both US title matches. One has more of a game than another. So let's get out of the way. Shinsuke Nakamura versus L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Just put the title back on him.
Probably. This run of Nakamura's has been useless.
Got a cool entrance.
Yeah, the music, the Marge Simpson dressed his music again to make it different but the same. I got nothing, mate. I'm really sorry.
I'm kind of with you on this.
Their interaction last week was botched as part of a match that was a mess. Like, there's nothing good to say. Like, LA Knight losing didn't give him this feeling of a guy that was moving on up. Because we're moving on. Do you know where they got the inspiration for that song?
Where's that?
Well, Heather Small has a side hustle as a mechanic. And, you know, when you have to put your car onto those gimmicks. And then
yeah.
So, like, one day, she was, like, just... and then the customer was like, what are you doing? She was like, moving on up, looking underneath, we're gonna get it moving. And, like, they were like, you should write songs. It's really good, actually.
And she was, like, doing the checklist. I've heard this story
before.
Yeah. And, you know, they're doing...
That's weird, because when I said so, you said you didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, no, I've just remembered it.
Right.
Popped into my head. And like oil, she's like, yeah, I topped up the oil before I brought it in. Same with the wiper fluid and stuff like that. Any problems with like the electrics or whatever? No, all seems to be fine, all good. What have you done today to check your tires work? Because when you go through a puddle, obviously they get. You want to check your brakes.
The customer went like, your lyrics for that one when the car was going up were exceptional, and that tune is amazing. I'm not so sure that tune works with you here as a mechanic.
Yeah, you wouldn't be too proud of that.
But like, and there was like, what was mad was that like when she was singing or when she was doing the lyrics, there was like other like sort of people fixing other cars, and like one like had a keyboard there and one had some drums, and the guy
fell out the back of the car.
He was just like looking. The customer was just like looking round across this like all these various cars and all these instruments and stuff. So it was like, tell you what, you mechanic people could form a hell of a band.
Yeah, and funny enough, the bloke I actually found out, the bloke who came in to get his car fixed, a bit of a dark place to take this to.
Okay.
Was a cannibal, a cannibal.
What?
And like, you know, trying to make conversation or whatever. And Heather was like, what do you like to do other than drive your car? You know, what's one of your hobbies? And he's like, people. And she was like, boom, I've got an idea for a name of a group.
We need to close the mechanics down. But Heather, it's our only source of income, and she was like, that's what you think. The hit parade ain't ready. And that's how it happened.
We're going to see Heather Small in concert soon.
That's how it happened.
I'd rather talk about that than this US title match, genuinely. Just put the title on LA Knight and have a match for him and Andrade at WrestleMania. Just a name off the top of my head there.
Real quick, what's LA Knight done since losing the title? Oh, yeah, it was the thing with the Rumble and Drew McIntyre. Apparently, it was him getting his S in. And
with Logan Paul.
I never believed then, and I still don't believe now. It might have been real. I'm certainly not criticising the people that do the news that we aggregate for a living. Christ, no. But it didn't quite fit with me that was some sort of like shoot, other than maybe a tiny bit of,
What if, you got LA Knight US champion off the back of this, right? And he's like, I'll fight anyone at WrestleMania. And you hear someone say, why don't you fight an Uso at WrestleMania? It's like, well, Jay's already in a match. And it's like, no, I want to fight you. And the other brother comes out, and then LA Knight, as part of the video package, can say, I think your chances are slim, Jim.
But then Big Jim wins, and he renames the belt the USO title.
And we fixed it. That's genuinely how Road Dogg, how you do it, mate.
I tell you what, Big Jim and LA Knight or Big Jim and Nakamura is not a bad US title match, is it? Because the idea that but he's got his own title to fight for, and he's
got a win last week over Drew McIntyre. That's got to count for summer.
And Drew, well, apparently not, because he beat his ass after the match. Because Road Dogg don't commit to nobody. Drew McIntyre basically doing so did Jay, I got your name wrong. They're being out front about him being the weaker of the two brothers, but it's no longer a build dissension. It's what he's actually doing is sort of solidifying the unity, because Jimmy's maybe I'm just secure in my status and I'm pretty happy for my brother now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not so browbeaten by Roman Reigns when he was a heel, or the idea of the family having to keep all together. And I'm just watching my brother do this is so amazing. Good for him, and I'm going to try and get some of my own. So that's a different way to tell the story, isn't it?
Jay and Jimmy clinking belts in celebration would be amazing.
Jimmy getting it done early in the card on night one before Jay's main event, adding this idea, I've done it, you can do it too, mate. Come on, you can do this. And then who knows? Then either Gunther beats him, and it's Jimmy won it, and you can. Oh, Jay, mate, you still can. Or he does win, and I think there's a lot. Maybe we've hit upon something here, and maybe that's a reason to keep the title on Nakamura.
Let's do a triple threat. Also tonight, she's got gear specially made, which I'm very excited, and I know you are too, to see.
Yeah.
But tonight it is Women's US Champion Chelsea Green versus... I've got a game if you want to play it.
Yeah, let's play the game.
It could well be Meechin again. Or B-Fab, obviously. I've got a lot of history there. Could be Piper Niven, funny. But they are tagging on NXT next week, so I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
So it could be someone from NXT even. Jordan Grace, for example.
Yeah.
Would be fun. But if it's not that, who's challenging Chelsea Green tonight, guys?
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
Who is Chelsea Green's opponent tonight? Now, I have the SmackDown roster page open in front of me, but you don't have to limit yourself to that if you don't want to, mate.
Oh.
Could be a legend, could be... What?
I was reacting to something legend.
From
yeah.
Elimination.
I'll take your title, Chelsea Green. I'm wearing Man of Mission colours.
You think you're going to retain?
Yeah, this is not WhatCulture shit. This is Men on a Mission colours.
Yeah.
We nicked it from them.
Who do you want? Raw, SmackDown, NXT, free agents, alumni, WCW alumni, ECW alumni,
this is choice
Hall of Famers.
Choice paralysis. This. Let's go for NXT.
NXT, okay.
Can I just say, by the way, can I have 2 quick predictions on the gear?
Okay.
Number 1, she goes for some sort of Toronto Maple Leafs inspired attire.
Yeah.
But does the unthinkable. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs, if I'm not mistaken, have just got a big maple leaf in the middle. I think they're blue and white, maybe with a maple leaf or something like that. And then just does the unthinkable and replaces the maple. She's Canadian, isn't she? Chelsea Green. Replaces the maple leaf with the big stars and stripes. Maybe taped over the top. Something like that. Or she wants this massive ceremony. She's done the countries are a little bit fractured at the moment thanks to the certain decisions of a certain president. So American-Canadian relations are not amazing right now. But like Chelsea Green is bringing the country together. And she's like, I'm the US champion, but here I am tonight back in Canada. And she's gone for like the red and white maple leaf flag. Like the top is the flag. The trunks is the flag. She's got like a little thing, the flag. And then she's like piping everything's there. She's like, you look amazing, champ. You look amazing. You look fantastic. Nobody's ever seen such a thing. And then like Trish Stratus just walks past her and is like, it's been done. And then like her head's gone before she even makes it out to the ring.
Chelsea Green is in fact from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. So she could say like, where are you from again? Victoria. And then she comes out and finally gets put in the Hall of Fame. Also, I just Googled Toronto wrestlers. And you've got Trish Stratus, obviously. You've got Edge. I think he's going to be the one challenging her. Got Carmen Petrovic randomly.
Interesting.
That's not going to happen, I don't think. You also have someone who I read this and went, well, I'd lose my goddamn mind if that happened, if she was interrupted and challenged for the title by Gail Kim.
Oh my God. I don't want to play the game anymore. I want it to be Gail Kim.
Gail goddamn Kim.
Yeah, do that. Do f***ing that. I don't want the game. Game over. Bingo.
Game over, yeah! Sega Rally Championship, isn't it?
I never played that.
Oh, that's the...
What was the one? What was the game? It's in the arcades in Filey. Guys, what was the one in the arcades in Filey?
Gail Kim.
It's Gail Kim. You could really like... Do you ever play California Speed? California Speed!
That rings a bell.
You could proper hit people like... Like, it was not in a GTA way, but they would, like, fly up in the... Like, put a YouTube video on now of California Speed that, like, nobody can watch or listen to. You have to put it on silent, and we'll filibuster. But just so you can see the visual of somebody getting run over.
Oh, I did play this game.
Yeah, watch the visual of somebody getting run over, and then they...
It's also a card game by the looks of this, because all the videos are popping up are a card game.
I imagine if you search California Speed...
Game. No, that doesn't work.
Arcade game, maybe.
N64.
Oh, it's an N64 game as well. I'll do the... There we go. Oh, I don't think that was it. The graphics don't, because it needs to get into town. Like, can you get to the point where the guy's in like a town or something? Because it, like, what we got here? I'll just keep doing my rips.
I don't think it's going to work, this.
It's not going to work, this is it. There was a game in an arcade and you could really smash people with your car. Like, but you didn't see any like broken legs or injuries or anything.
No.
It was very like, it was sort of a neutered GTA in terms of cutting people and killing people.
Yeah.
Because it was like, they would cartoonishly fly over your car. And they were obviously animated people. But the game was like loosely three-dimensional. I have to speak to Scott or Josh about this. But the people were like sort of printed out humans.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the office workers of where the game was made. So, but that had like 3 animations. So they'd just be like, and there'd be only different 3 people that were in that on that Friday afternoon. So it'd just be like photocopied, replicated those 3 people.
Scooby-Doo background.
And then you'd intentionally try and hit them all and garanga them. Garanga! Like that. You'd go bang, 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 bang. And then there'd be this pose. And then there'd be this pose.
That's shock for people listening to the podcast.
Thank you. And then there'd be this pose.
That's utter shock and...
Arms in the air. But it'd be like flipped upside down, and that's what you see sort of flying over your head.
Don't do that, ladies.
But then it would cut back. Like, the thing is, right before it went over your head in the game, they would just cut back to...
Just neutral.
Yeah. So it was like, I liked it. But, and it was 30p a go back then as well.
Well, if it's not Gail Kim, I've got
in the
the
90s.
Legends page up now. Not
Gail Kim's an unbelievable shout.
WWE alumni.
Okay.
It's probably just going to be Michin, but still. Stop. Number between 1 and 8.
8.
It's Haku. So there's your 2 options. I'm stopping the game there.
Stick.
Haku or Gail Kim.
Yeah. Well,
or Victoria.
Haku obviously now has direct links. Haku accepts the challenge. And he's going to come out and we're like, and Chelsea Green's like, hang on, mate, what? Like, I know I've like had a kick-ass match with Penta before, but it's different gravy. And then he's like, look, I've seen what my boys are doing in the bloodline, and I want some of this. I want that US title. And then Rikishi comes out and he's like, I've seen what your boys are doing in the bloodline, and I've come to do something about that. And then they say triple threat. And then it's a bit like how what was it this year's Royal Rumble? No, it wasn't this year's. It was 2010s. I was just watching it with my son. Like, R-Truth tips out two people. Punk did it to Roman and Seth, and Shawn Michaels did it to Vader and Yokozuna when they just tipped it. The monsters are fighting, and I've just gone, thank you, like that. They're fighting so much, like Chelsea Green. It's Road Dogg booking SmackDown now. Double roll up. Thank you very much. Like, double.
But despite that, he goes backstage, and there's Jacob, and he says, "Despite what happened, I love Haku."
Yep. That's what he does. Despite what?
You got double
moments ago.
As SmackDown rolled on, I love Haku.
I was speaking to Michael Cole earlier on.
I used to love that when they used to just. I was speaking to him earlier on, and they really. Did they say that?
Well, Corey, I was chatting with a fiend earlier today, and he said, "Were you?" You know,
Where was this, in catering?
Alexa told me before she came out that Lily's powers cannot be contained. When did that chat happen then? It's a doll.
Switching gears now to this weekend.
That line read in The Office. It's a dildo. Such a good line read. I know it's a dildo, but what's it doing in my office?
I suppose these two questions are kind of combined. Mm-hmm. Will Cody Rhodes sell his soul? And who does Cody face at WrestleMania?
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
Chill about whatever happens this year. Excuse me while I get my phone out.
All right,
because
Vicky.
I want to read something important related to this exact subject matter. We had a tweet. I don't know if we did or maybe it was just me getting the notification, so maybe that's why you might not. But somebody that you might have heard of called Brian Weddick, the SmackDown Photoshop correspondent, has said, "It's my birthday on Sunday. Brian, happy birthday on Sunday."
And belated happy birthday to the wonderful Scott Carlson, by the way.
Yes. We're all in our 30s, aren't we, Scott? Yeah.
Just about. Give or take.
Brian has flipped the script because it's his birthday and it's his ones, and I actually think this is fine. You know how it's been known that we've asked for the odd thing from him? Can you remember that? I can't.
It rings a vague bell,
back in the mind. As it's my birthday on Sunday, as a present, I want two things on the SmackDown preview, please.
Two?
Yep.
This better be a big birthday.
Well, the second one we will get back to is a more generic question. You have to live somewhere else in the world for a year, knowing that you'll go back home at the end. Where are you headed?
Las Vegas.
Too long to just be a long vacation, but not long enough to truly get comfortable. Food, weather, things must be considered.
Las Vegas.
I kind of might. Somewhere in America.
I'd die there. There's no way I survive a year in Las Vegas. I'll barely survive a week when we're there.
To live and die in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Live and die.
We'll live and die in Las Vegas.
Shout out to the enemy.
Yeah.
But genuinely, if I'm
this one first.
If I'm so they're covering. I'm going to think about. I've got to make money to buy a house.
I guess all the admin is taken care of, and it's a 1 year deal, which is quite a nice. Like your family have said, yeah, please go away. Like for a year, you can video chat every single day, whenever you want. Like there's going to be no sense of loss in.
So
what
I can't travel back. So it's not about picking. Oh, I'll just live in.
No,
Newcastle.
but let's say in the scenario Brian's created, there's no like two-way sadness about that. Like it's somehow magically like you're not going to miss something significant in Eric's life, or like my kids.
Yeah.
Like the wives.
They're frozen in time for a year.
They're frozen. The wives, predictably, are surprisingly all right with us disappearing for a year. But like. Yeah, let's just say cryogenic chamber, your family, and you go somewhere for a year and the rest of the time stands still and you come back and it's like the world is as you remember it. It would be America for me.
Yeah, I think me and Phil and Nicholas have had this conversation about 15 times and we always come back to the same answer. San Francisco.
I'm going to San Francisco with Phil Chambers after WrestleMania.
I had such a lovely time there.
I can't wait.
You gonna ride the old cyclist thing around the Golden Gate Bridge?
I'll do whatever we can get done in the time we're there.
It's worth doing. It's a lovely experience.
I sent Phil a picture that I saw on Twitter of San Francisco, and I ended up sending him into like a grief spiral of looking back through his pictures of his last trip there and trying to get excited of what we could fit in over like 24 hours.
Fine for you whilst you're Keep talking.
Mine,
I
think would be New York, and I've been there a lot.
Concrete jungle, wet cream tomato.
That's the one. I have been there now more than anywhere else I've been in America.
Wow.
And yet it never feels like you've been there at all.
Yeah.
That, and I think we've, like, I'm trying to think of the regulars that listen and watch along with us, and I can't remember if we've got dyed-in-the-wool New Yorkers, people that live maybe in Manhattan or something like that. And maybe I'm over-glamorizing it, and maybe a year would actually be enough. But 365 days, I would take that so seriously. I would set a goal and an aim for about 300 of those days. I'd be like opposite land me. Yeah, I couldn't sit in New York with a tray watching the telly. I'd need to be like, right, what's the street I'm doing today? What's the thing I'm getting forensic with today?
Or San Francisco. So you go and see them.
What are them?
Bloody load of seals or sea lions or whatever at Pier 39.
What are they doing? Are they always there?
Yeah, apparently.
I'm not going there. I'm scared of them.
Oh, there was a bar with all porn on it, look.
Seal breaker. What is that? Ban that sick filth.
Yeah, I'd like play this to
You don't need to play it to me. I'll zoom
play
in.
it, yeah.
Stop zooming in. Yeah, the video viewers can't see at the moment that you're zooming enhancing on the video.
Me proposing to my mate there.
Oh, that's quite nice. A very beautiful shot of the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. Yeah, me and Phil.
Hungover. I was so hungover that day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what we were thinking. Let's go
bet.
out on a pub crawl the night before we cycle over the Golden Gate Bridge.
It's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Oh my God, I've just come up with it. Oh my God, I've just come up with it, Brian. I know it's your birthday and this started with you giving us a request. Can you make one for me and Phil, please? Phil and Fed's Excellent Adventure.
Oh my God.
That is class.
Post Las Vegas, we're going to be going to Salt Lake City, San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver, and Calgary.
So jealous.
I can barely believe this is my life. It is because, like, this is crazy because we're all in our 30s, and yet there might be a birthday along that path where that changes, but I'm not going to check the facts and stats on that.
Okay.
Until I'm back. Phil and I'm going to get Phil on that as well. That's just
Definitely have a t-shirt, mate.
Isn't it? Do you know, I promise you I'm going to get to the other part of your question, Brian. Do you know why we're even in North America before that trip?
Why is that?
Well, I got some great news for you if you don't know. It's because all of us, the WhatCulture team, apart from Sid, you can't make it. It's his daughter's birthday. He's a wonderful father and he's a better man than I'll ever be. All of us will be in Las Vegas for WrestleMania weekend. And can you think of a better way to start your WrestleMania weekend in Las Vegas?
I'm so excited.
Than going, well, I'm glad that you said that because we've actually got a venue with X in the title.
What?
The HyperX Arena. For the biggest and best SmackDown watch-along in all of Las Vegas. The tickets to SmackDown are really expensive, whereas ours are very reasonable. That and that reason alone should be good enough. But not only that, you will be able to convene with some of the nicest and kindest folk that always come to our live shows and some people that have never been before. Wrestling fans, your people, on the Friday before WrestleMania. Can you think of a better thing to do? Because I can't. Yeah. There's going to be a live show where we do all our usual nonsense. If you hate this, buy a ticket, and then there's people you actually like. But if you love this sort of nonsense,
go to the bar.
Yeah, just go to the bar. Spend money at the beautiful HyperX bar. It's absolutely fine. There's a little casino outside. Buy a ticket to that, and then if at any point you're like, oh, Hamflett and Wilbourn's bit, I'm going to go in the casino, thanks very much, because it's deep inside the Luxor Hotel and Casino, which, by the way, if you are going to SmackDown, is the closest casino to the T-Mobile Arena where that show is taking place, and your ticket is good for the entire thing. The entire thing, you say, Hamflett? What do you mean? Yes, I say the entire thing because it is an entire several-hour event where there's going to be the live show. There's going to be the SmackDown watch-along where the big screen, it's too big. The venue is certainly too big for us. What were we thinking? The venue is going to screen SmackDown. There's VIP seating for the best seats in the house, and I understand tickets are extremely limited for them. There's general seating as well. But
it's payday.
It is payday. Today is payday. Get your tickets today. There's a discount, I believe, for the merchandise. If you get the VIP ticket, that's extremely generous. I believe Larry Rabb has treated himself to the shop using that discount code. Correct me if I'm wrong on WrestleCulture, Larry, about that, but it's a good one. But yeah, general ticket and seating is available as well. There are loads of options for you to get t-shirts, merch, or just whatever you're comfortable with. We'd just love to have you along because we're going to be doing this awesome SmackDown watch along. And then the fun does not stop. Simon Miller is going to be doing ups and downs on that SmackDown in that venue for YouTube. So you have your opportunity to get on Simon Miller's Go Home SmackDown Ups and Downs. Then we're going to be in a bloody WrestleMania 41 preview podcast live in the building. And don't think the fun stops there. It's just not anything we can announce, if you know what I'm saying, guys. It's not anything special. It's just we're going to be all drinking all night until the HyperX asks us to leave, basically, and we want you to be a part of it as well. There's going to be a million opportunities. There's no isolated meet and greet this year. The ticket is inclusive of all of it. Selfies, Q&As. You want to spend 50 minutes like fantasy booking how you would have done Bret Hart different in WWE. Clue, no differences whatsoever.
You want to see a video of Michael Hamflett dancing on a night out in Chesterfield, you know?
I consistently forget we promised that, but yes, anyone that wants to see it can ask Adam Wilbourn to watch it on his phone. I've got real worries that he's going to figure out a way to get it on the big screen.
Yeah.
Like real concerns about that. But if nothing else, you can have a look at it on his phone. We're so excited. And obviously, we don't want anyone that could be thinking about what they're going to do over WrestleMania weekend to miss out. So, yeah, tickets are available at whatculture.com/tickets for that huge event, a SmackDown watch along. And it would be remiss of me not to say that it will be the final date on our first ever world tour. You've heard us wax on about this all the time. It's all that same live show stuff. If WWE's in your town, we will be there too.
What culture is now in your city?
If you are going to WWE, we're going to give you plenty of time to get there, but we're going to be doing the perfect WWE pre-show with hypes, with drinks, with good times, with all the gang. Simon Miller is going to be there in action and in the flesh, and what beautiful, jacked flesh it is. We're going to be in Manchester, Belfast, Glasgow, and London in dates in March. All dates and venue information is available at whatculture.com/tickets, and we will be probably plugging this again on WrestleCulture later on, and indeed through QR codes and various other stuff that flashes up all the time. If you hate all this stuff, we're really sorry, but we're just really excited about it.
Whatculture.com/tickets, all on the road to WrestleMania. But who's Cody going to face there, and is he going to sell his soul?
He is going to face the answer, I've lost the tweet now, to Brian's first birthday request, which is pick your least plausible chamber winners and then the ripple effects to everyone else involved. Ooh. So, Brian, he's going to be facing Damian Priest, and I, for one, am looking forward to it because I've been in the building when Damian Priest has won a world title, and it's actually really hot.
Incredible, yeah.
So Cody's getting south of heaven for the 1, 2, 3. Nice and early on night 2. Nobody saw this coming, and what does that mean for the rest of the gang?
If it's Logan Paul...
Logan Paul. Well, Brian's question turned out to be fairly prescient, didn't it? Because, yes, we could crack our little jokes about Damian Priest and who on earth that leaves John Cena with, or like CM Punk, like what three-way apparently will CM Punk find himself wedged into? God knows what. And yes, there are ripple effects to any and all winners. But one of the answers that we might have given to Brian's question before waking up this morning was subject to a lot of speculation on Twitter. And a minor spoiler chat.
Is it a spoiler? This is what we're talking about.
So I always get his name mixed up, and I want to say Franklin Scoopington, but it's not, is
it's
it?
Not. I'll
Dr.
get you.
Chris Featherston?
Yes, I'll get
Dr. Chris Featherston,
title.
who is a reliable online scoopster and a shoot doctor.
Yes.
Let's be fair here. From one doctor to another who focuses on the specialism of pro wrestling. Fair play to the man. I think he's actually studied for the PhD. I've just studied for the FED.
On Sportskeeter's Backstage Pass Patreon, he revealed
5, 4...
Spoilers, skip ahead.
3...
We'll stop talking about it in 3 minutes.
1.
Drew McIntyre as the spoiler, as the man currently planned to win the Elimination Chamber, despite the fact he's, I think, 3rd in terms of odds right now. Cena and Punk, obviously, the leaders of that.
Is this not what people do?
I don't understand how this is a spoiler, because John Cena was revealed as winning the Rumble about 3 days before Jey Uso won the Rumble. So,
but he could still win it, and it's just somebody that might have
speculation. No,
yeah, I think so. I found the conversation around this a little bit weird, but maybe I'm missing a point. Maybe I'll happily be corrected in the comments as to why I've kind of missed the details on this. And obviously, we've given you warnings just in case this is not your thing. But I think it's a nice answer to Brian's question, because Drew winning does feel like it disrupts a lot of people's natural fantasy booking.
Yeah.
Not just of Cody and Punk, because it's the best match in all of wrestling. It's the one that still nobody has done.
Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. It's right there. Just do it.
I'm kind of with him on that, I got to say. I also like Cena and Cody. I know that's not for everyone, but I like that.
I will get on board with it.
That will be
I'll be
massive.
disappointed it's not Punk, but I'll get on board with it. Yeah.
Huge WrestleMania match. Like, proper,
especially with The Rock.
Yeah, generational stuff happening there. So I'm not, and Cena and Punk have felt like the favourites for that reason. But let's talk about Drew in answer to Brian, and potentially in response to these comments coming out from Dr. Chris Featherston.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
Drew winning, I don't mind, and here's why. If he wins, and it's part of a wider story of him being the one to sell his soul to The Rock, knowing full well that Cody wouldn't, Not only does he get to rub CM Punk's nose in it, that, oh, look, he's got the WrestleMania main event now. I thought you were Mr. See the Future. And then he goes on to beat Cody Rhodes because selling your soul comes with the result of getting to win a title. It's the best possible payoff to like old bitter Drew for the last couple of years. He gets redemption for what happened to him at WrestleMania last year. And what's he going to do the first night after WrestleMania? Couldn't take it off me this year, Bunker, could you? And they have a little mini summer run over the title where you read the do-over, basically.
Rock texts Drew whilst he was off. He's the person who's revealed who checked on him.
He's the one that checked on him. He's the one that got him a sword.
Yes.
Says law. I don't hate it.
No, I like you say, throws everything all up in the air, and I think it should be Punk or Cena, to be perfectly honest. And what the hell happens to, like you say, Priest, Seth, Roman, God knows. But I don't hate it. I mean, I don't even hate Logan Paul necessarily winning because it's Cody Rhodes they're working with, and that's all that really matters. But with 20 seconds left. Anything else you want to say on this before we welcome back people who don't want to see any spoilers?
No, and like let's obviously give a nice long run up for people that are just joining us back. So we will just end with saying, yes, sincerely, have a lovely birthday weekend this weekend, Brian.
Have a good one, mate.
We could not appreciate more the incredible and often hideous creations you are responsible for after all these podcasts. We feel like it's contributed significantly to the community we've built around this specific podcast we do in the week, which some of you might have enjoyed on Wednesday. Some people were less keen. But yes, thank you very much for all that you do for us and the likes of Jay Frazier. And we know that Jules is a bit of a devotee of the Friday stuff as well, because often as I'm talking Top of the Pops, there'll be some sort of callback, some nonsense on SmackDown. We always want to name everybody, but you know who you are. We love you all. And Brian's been integral to how much we enjoy the daft stuff on this one. So have a lovely birthday weekend, Brian, sincerely from all of us at WhatCulture.
So does Cody Rhodes sell his soul?
No, but I really, really loved Cody and Seth on Monday attempting to make this all make sense.
Yeah.
And I just hope, we talked about this, you and I have differing views on The Rock sometimes, but I think the one thing we found a common ground on with Raw was that now that so many wrestlers did so much to make sense of last Friday's mess, take this one seriously, Rock. Mate. Like,
Just think about it and write some stuff down before I
think about it. Notes on the old risky, whatever you need. Sit down with the people that are actually directly involved and that are going to be affected by it and stick to it.
Be the final boss.
Yeah, lock in. That's when it got good last year. We cannot sit here and pretend like, well, the podcast's still out there for you to go and watch. Like, other than us going, what? We all went like, did Cody just say, but not this year? Oh, God, that Rock's certainly a disruptor, isn't he? Nobody said that. Well, what are you doing? It was Vegas where it came together. Why? Because that was when you locked in. That was when things changed. That was when we all went, right, let's go to work. Saturday has the opportunity to erase memories of that dreadful promo this time last week. Because if, with the other wrestlers making sense of the nonsense and The Rock making sense of that making sense, we could get somewhere here.
Yeah, I think Cody is the perfect man as well to basically say, I can understand why people would want to sell their soul to you. He's not just the virtuous John Cena. Nope, not for me. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Look, my family, I laid it out on Raw. This could do, I could do amazing things, and all I have to give you is my soul and become your champion. I just can't do it. I can't have worked so hard to get where I am now to become a corporate champion. And that's just going to raise Rock's ire even more. Where that goes from there, whether he tries to insert himself into WrestleMania or not, that's where the intrigue is. This is what people lost sight of, and I understand why with what happened on last Friday. Like, the unpredictability of it all. Whoever wins the chamber, we're not going to talk about that anymore because I know people might want to avoid spoilers. Whoever it is, like, it's
Are they
more
with The Rock now?
Yeah. If it's Punk, for example, you already look in going, Punk versus Cody, both of them could turn heel to win a title or retain a title or whatever. Now with the added bonus of, plus you get The Rock siding with you. I mean...
Oh my God.
And if he says no, what can The Rock do? He's the most powerful man, as he banged on about. And how does he take that? And where's Roman in all this? And what's the favor? I love it. I'm scared and I love it at the same time.
I would quite like if, a great way to spin how all over the shop as a heel and babyface now insincere Dwayne felt last Friday. Like, a great way to spin that if he wants to be Mr. Disruptor, would be as soon as Cody says no, like just the mask slips and he like just takes the glass off. He's like, "Are you as stupid as Mama Rose looks?" Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like everything
Just swear at him.
Everything he was saying was just like the work of a fraud. Like, we're not friends. Like, The Rock gave you The Rock's tequila. That makes The Rock sick. Like, they're whatever, sick to my stomach, JR. Like, they're whatever it is. Like, immediately, and then as soon as Cody's made the decision and you see the weight lift off his shoulders, like, The Rock just, like, again, locks in. There is a sense of the final boss did not anticipate this, and he has control over everything. And, like, you've just lifted a bit of control from him, and Cody's like, nah, and this is why. I see you for who you are, Rock.
He just says, I'm really sorry, Dwayne.
With deference and like,
I can't do this.
Oh.
You ungrateful motherfucker. Like that.
Yeah.
Slaps him. I let everything slide. On that Netflix debut show that I've remembered now because I'm actually locked in, I buried the hatchet. I said, hey, we're friends now. We're family friends now. You think I've forgotten? Mm-hmm. You took this away from me. I like, what the hell happens? And I don't, like you say, whether that happens before or after the men's chamber match. Anyway, before we get to the women's chamber, we have to talk about an awesome tag match with a very obvious conclusion, considering one of the women is the hometown hero and the other one is defending her title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But it is Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Candice is in the pin. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a load of fun.
Good booking, I think. This match hopefully won't stink. And I think Tiffany Stratton needs it a bit because the reaction the two of them will get. Hopefully in matching gear, by the way. Have you seen they've like posted pictures where they're
I haven't seen this.
Like they're in like a ring train or something, but they've got like exact matching hair gear, the whole deal. So like they're becoming like best mates. They've got like the Trishy and Tiffy time t-shirts made and stuff.
Oh my God.
All good stuff. And
there's a Rock Soul t-shirt as well. I might buy that.
Like the story's dead next week, but they've sold like
my God.
Yeah.
So there's the Trishy time or whatever they call it. It's like it's neat and tidy. This, so I like it as a bit of matchmaking. And yes, they will win. Yes, I expect Candice LeRae to get pinned. I wonder if after a couple of weeks of Charlotte Flair like getting the advantage on Tiffany Stratton, she makes her presence felt after the match. So there's like a celebration for the baby faces, and she goes to attack. And this time it looks like Tiffany's actually got Charlotte's number. She fights back, and the crowd, because they've been cheering the whole match, like, get her. But then Nia and Candice re-enter the match, take out, let's say, Tiffany, and Charlotte does something particularly horrible to Trish for the heat in Toronto.
Uh-oh. We bought a baby, I'm on a roll.
Toronto, I don't know, puts through a table, something spectacular. It's like Charlotte ends up not so much getting the better of Tiffany, but just getting all the heat because the fans have like really enjoyed Tiffany Stratton on this one night and adore Trish Stratus as they should. Charlotte gets to get the big
Maple Leaf it, Charlotte. She's not worth it.
2 in a row.
We bought a baby. I'm on a roll, eh?
And that's the hat trick. So yeah.
Sorry, Canadians. Sorry, everyone from all the other countries whose accents I mock.
Sorry to anybody who...
sorry to everyone.
Just sorry to everyone for all of this, all the time, really.
I'm so sorry.
Charlotte gets the heat by doing something particularly awful to Trish Stratus. Then, if she's got nothing to do with the WrestleMania build going forward, you've at least got the absolute maximum out of her.
But not before Nia Jax is the prettiest moonsault ever.
Excuse me?
Yeah. I'm calling it right now.
All right. To make up for the Annihilator being a bit delicate, she's like, all right, and what's this?
I'll kill Nia, I'll kill Trish Stratus.
Triple jump moonsault, is it? Thought you said I was working light.
I wouldn't be surprised if Trish Stratus did the prettiest moonsault ever, by the way.
Ooh. I think they're smarter, but going for stereo Stratusfaction.
Yeah, probably.
Stereo Matrix.
Good. Right. Women's Elimination Chamber. This is really unpredictable. Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez, who looks set for the main roster, really. This with the Spectre, because whoever wins this faces faces the Raw Women's Champion at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Currently Rhea Ripley. She's defending against Io Sky on Monday. It's all up in the bloody air. Mm-hmm. And Jade Cargill might be coming back.
Yeah. Crazy as this might sound, let's rule out somebody that isn't going to win, who is, by the way, the best wrestler in the whole world, Liv Morgan. Like, I love her.
Great quiz question about Liv Morgan on the WrestleCulture quiz
Is
later
there
today.
now?
Yeah, I've just remembered.
Maybe I might have to step into that quiz.
Nicholas, you're not going to be happy about that, are you? He's not here. He's working very hard at home. Thank you, Adam. As always.
Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah. Liv Morgan's not going to win, and fine.
No. They're going to have a mint tag match instead, aren't
Yeah, buzzing for that. Bailey. Sorry. I love you. Best match ever. Bailey versus Sasha Banks. Say just how much I love you. But it ain't you. Not this year.
Roxanne. It's not you.
Well, I wonder if she'll make the final two. And
Did it like the Rumble?
Like the Rumble, like the Chamber, the Prodigy, the best, etc. The best claims, but always falls short, is not the worst way for someone like Roxanne Perez to get going for real on the main roster. Yes, there is some business left to conduct with Jordan Grace, but that's just going to be cool, isn't it? Let's be honest. So I think she makes the final two, Roxanne Perez. She loses to Bianca Belair.
I agree, 100%.
And I love this development for so many reasons. I love that we could and should be staring down the barrel of Bianca Belair versus Io Sky or Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, right? If she wins this match. Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley had a face-off in 2023.
Yeah.
That immediately, because WWE was, again, such a tightly written and like sort of well, like was doing so well in that summer of 2023, preserving all the good stuff while still delivering so much every week. Like, had everybody, which is like melting the internet for God, I wish it was WrestleMania now. I can't wait for this. And then they didn't even do it. And it was great. Like, we got Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch instead in the WrestleMania Night 1 opener. And it was quallo. But Bianca and Rhea just sat there waiting for a rainy day. Well, brother, I can see some clouds over Vegas. I think it's a rainy day.
I think a storm's coming.
I think a storm might be coming. And if it's coming on the Friday, we know the perfect place to get inside the shelf from Storm. That's HyperX Arena. But Jade Cargill returning to...
Imagine if they open... Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
Imagine they open with this, right? I don't know how it works with The Rock and all that, like we talked about earlier. Open with this. Alexa Bliss, there's some White Six involvement to write her out of all this. Or she loses and then the White Six come out and like, whatever. I like Roxanne Perez's final... No shame losing to bloody Bianca Belair. No. But Naomi hasn't...
The final loss.
Naomi hasn't, left. She's still there cheering on her mate because she's good. Bianca Belair, KOD to Roxanne Perez. Maybe off the top of a chamber, I don't know.
Off a pod.
1, 2, 3. EST celebrates.
Chamber lifts.
Chamber lifts. Naomi slides in. I'm so happy for you, mate. Yay! You did it! Yay! Storm's coming. And they turn and nothing happens. You got to watch the telly for that. Jade Cargill just walks out and like arms folded, just looks at her, and you go, "Well, what happened?" And that's
who's she looking at?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Naomi also goes, "Oh bollocks!" It's Jake, or tries to be a. Jade's back as well. Could this night get any better?
I was going to suggest that Bianca, because everyone thinks it's Naomi.
Do they?
You've been building the case. Bianca's pointing at the sign. And
clouds.
Nice. Yes.
Indoors.
Clouds take over the sign. But yeah,
she gets hit by lightning.
Jade Cargill's, from Gladiators? What's she doing here? Gladiators tomorrow. We are doing our best, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
I can't watch it.
Oh, you're away, aren't you? It's all right, it's all right.
We've had an agreement already. Me and Anne-Louise were saving it.
I'll not spoil it for you either.
Okay.
Grassroots.
First quarterfinals.
Yeah. That lad from Sunderland who looked like a nailed-on winner in that first episode. Too good, if anything. Grassroots campaign started here on the SmackDown podcast. Have you noticed this?
I've seen this. I was sharing this with Anne-Louise yesterday.
The people are with us. Change the rules of, I always forget what it's called. Running race.
Unleash, thank you.
The Bron Breaker one. Change the rules so that you can run up as many steps as you want. And there's a bit of division up. My wife wants rid of the wall. I'm not sure how I feel about the wall. Would you get rid of the wall?
No, keep the wall.
I don't mind the wall. I just think but it does, it's slower downer, but definitely change the rules of the steps on Unleashed.
An unexpected series of events shocks the arena and leaves a gladiator defeated for the first time ever on, and I'm not going to tell you what
I know what that is going to be, I think.
A new gladiator smashes onto the scene. ...
I think
Tell me more.
That is either. I'll give you 2 predictions for that.
I think it's Barney Walsh to become a gladiator.
I think it's either Legend on the Edge or Giant on Jewel. Quote me on either of those. At me on either of those.
Legend's such a twat.
He's great, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
He's better than Randy Orton ever
Did
was.
you get him in the Fed?
Yeah, I'd sign him. He was on Richard Osman's House of Games as his like shoot self as well, and he's a very affable guy. A lot of fun. Like Legend a lot. What we're talking about, the Women's Chamber. Bianca Belair points at the sign. A storm is coming. A cloud forms around the WrestleMania sign. Jade Cargill returns. Naomi is nowhere to be found. She was eliminated. She was eliminated second. So she's gone.
Gone.
Gone John. Where's that from?
Don't know.
John Gone. Can't remember. Condom. No, well,
You're right. If you hit your head.
It'll come to me. There's mixed references from 30 odd years ago. We're on our 30 years of comedy. They're going through my head at the moment. So yeah, point at the sign, storm cloud. Jay Cargill comes out and like ambiguous face, but like Bianca's thrilled. Like, hey, Jay Cargill's back. Jay Cargill just waffles her with a slap, like takes her to the ground and walks away. Yeah,
because you could say that it wasn't because of the attack. It's just because she's moved on and sided with Naomi.
Yeah, like it's left vague for SmackDown. It's like, who knows what here?
Yeah.
Like Bianca looks like sells shock. She's sold that she's just earnestly thrilled to see Jade back and healthy, and then Jade has just gone bang and like drilled her across the face, and then on the tease then becomes who knows what. Like, is she accusing Bianca, and Bianca, because she was in the ring, oh, you had an alibi, did you? Well, I know you had a hit woman on your side or whatever. Is she ignoring Naomi when we're all going, Naomi?
Yeah.
Is Naomi being like, what'd you do that for, Jade? Like, whatever. And that's your hook for SmackDown, like something like that.
Right, before we go, our picks for the 2 chambers, Bianca and Punk.
Why not? Let's go heart over head from the SmackDown podcast, because like we do sort of lead with our emotions somewhat on this show, more than necessarily following the rational train of thought. So yeah, Bianca and Punk. I am genuinely, I'll give WWE this, for as much as I've been critical of the WrestleMania build for reasons that I think are valid, the sort of accident, this happened a lot in the Vince era, the accidental result of that is that it does feel a bit like anything can happen.
Exactly, yeah.
And what you kind of want, my perfect, coherent, cohesive WWE is like, these things can happen.
Yeah.
But we have sort of found ourselves in a bit of a different zone. So yeah, I will be like genuinely Royal Rumble excited come 11 p.m. here at UK time, whatever time it is, 11 p.m. on Netflix. Like, does it get any better than just sitting in front of
We
your
might be out.
I'll be in, obviously, big crisps.
My mate Sparky's 40th birthday this weekend.
Happy birthday, Sparky. I've never met him, and I know I will one day.
How's that not
It's
happened?
a nice feeling that I'll know one day I'll meet him. Well, I have a great 40th this weekend. Look after this one, eh? But yeah, just big crisps, big old tray, Duffed, and on the telly. It's absolutely class.
Well, anyway, let us know your
I
thoughts
wonder what's a moody over here.
on everything we've discussed with regards to SmackDown and the Elimination Chamber in the comment section below, or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow both of us. Follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE and get your tickets for our live shows, whatculture.com/tickets. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Hamflett will be back on WrestleCulture with a hashtag Bloody Good Quiz later on today. But for now, this has been the SmackDown X Elimination Chamber preview, where we've talked about how far will Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens go, who's winning the Women's Elimination Chamber, Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, who's Cody going to face at WrestleMania, and will Cody Rhodes sell his soul?
The SmackDown preview. It's got all this and so much Tim Hortons.
We'll see you soon.